Hello, this is Skeeta from the Tetsu Claw channel. Just want to give an update on what I've been working on for trying to rebuild my teams for Spiral Abyss. I want to try a physical damage build and use a character that's not exactly all that sought after from a lot of people, a bit of an underrated character. So far, my builds are not complete yet, but this is just for my progress. Now, to show what I've been planning here, so this would be my first team, or my B team, essentially. That was my main focus since I previously had a good A team, but this kind of breaks it apart. But to go with how this team will work, Official, Bennett, Xinyan, Rosaria. Xinyan is going to be my main damage carry, and the reason why I'm choosing her is because she is vastly unused by most people, just to be different. And I did end up getting a new weapon for her, so I'm leveling that up to give that a spin. Now, this will give double Pyro Resonance, so that way they'll get additional attack power. You'll have the reactions between Fischl and Rosaria, since they'll be doing a lot of off-field damage, and Super Conduct will shred 40% of physical resistance. Now, with any team that focuses heavily on physical damage, the biggest Achilles heel of it is a lot of enemies have very high physical resistance. So trying to shed past that will be important to be able to do good damage. Now, Rosaria's burst snapshots and Oz from Fischl snapshots as well. So with two snapshotters with long duration attacks, they will work quite well with Bennett for the attack power buff. And he'll also act, well, these two can act like a bit of a battery to each other, so that way they can keep their bursts going. And of course, he'll just be the team's healer. Now, my A team, I had to switch this up here. I'm currently building Kujosara as well. But we'll be going with Sucrose, Diona, Rain Shogun, and Kujosara. The whole idea behind this is getting really big burst damage from Rain Shogun, because she hits like a freight train. Sucrose will be good with Elemental Shred with Forset, Viridescent Veneer, and she'll also have the grouping ability to gather things up together. Kujosara will be basically built for burst damage support, but also built in a way where she can still be effective as a buffer. And of course, Rain Shogun will still be using my previous build that I posted before. Now, to go over the characters.
I created another universe and founded.
So, Xinyan is one that's in the middle of build right now. Her attack power seems okay, but I want that to be a lot higher, but she will end up getting a lot higher. She's also low on crit damage, so hopefully with some of her artifacts, when I max them out, she'll get more crit damage. Being very hopeful there. Now, this is the weapon I got for her. So when I was wishing on the Rain Shogun banner, my first 10 pull, I got Rain Shogun, Sarah, and I figured goal accomplished. I did a 10 pull on the weapon banner to get another sacrificial bow, got that, got the engulfing lightning, and got this weapon all on that same 10 pull. So now I'm just starting to build it up. I figured she'd be the perfect character to use with this weapon, because it's my first 5-star Claymore on my account. She does generate her own shield, so she can take some advantage of the full effect of this weapon. And the shield strength will just help make the shield last longer for her. Now, I'm planning doing Gladiator for set. I have 3 pieces that are not maxed out. I do plan on seeing if I can get a better flower for her, though. For the helm, it's got crit rate on it, good chunk of attack power, some crit damage. Goblet, it's only plus 19 right now, good amount of crit damage, got an extra roll in crit rate, had an extra roll into defense unfortunately, but physical damage bonus, what she needed, and it's an onset piece, so that's quite helpful. That's what allows me to get away with using this helm, since I couldn't get a This will be my other one to pick from, which is far substandard compared. Now this I'm getting for energy recharge because I want her to be able to burst more, since her burst does do a fair amount of damage, and it also helps her with keeping her shield uptime as well. It's got no rolls on crit damage, couple rolls on crit rate, but it has most of its rolls on defense. Defense will help with her shields, but I'd rather it into actual damage stats currently. Hopefully I do get another crit damage roll on this one. Feather, it's got an extra roll or whatever in Elemental Mastery, but has been giving decent amount of crit damage, crit rate. So let's just hope that continues when I max this out. The flower only had one extra roll in crit damage. No rolls in crit rate, but a good high base first roll for crit rate. A lot of attack power, which she's going to end up having a lot of anyways because of her weapon. So this is one I might want to work on later on. Now going on to her constellation. She is Constellation 6. This shreds 15% of target's physical defense or physical resistance. And I'm still working on leveling her talents. I'll probably ascend her one more time eventually so I can get that to +9. Just more damage scaling for her attacks. And these need to be maxed out too. Okay. Now for Rosaria, I have her Constellation 6 as well. So when she uses a burst, on top of the damage it does, it also gives another 20% physical resistance reduction on the enemies. So with all three sources of the Superconduct, Xinyan, and Rosaria, that's 75% reduction in physical resistance. So that hopefully will get over the Achilles heel of a physical damage build.
And founded paradise.
Now for the other team, I'm currently working on
another universe and found
Cujo Sarah. Now she needs a lot more work to be done. I need to finish leveling her up, leveling her skills. She could use more crit damage as well. That's my big problem, is trying to find more crit damage and still keeping a decent crit rate. Her energy recharge is a bit low, but should be paired with a battery, Raiden Shogun, so hopefully that will help balance it out. Now for weapons, I'm going to give her the Black Hip 4 bow. I need to get this maxed out as well, but its base attack will end up being 565, so it ties with the Sacrificial Bow on highest base attack for 4-star bows. Skyward Harp would be a lot better for her, but I don't have any 5-star bows at all, unfortunately. I'm not going to get too much use out of this down here, so I'm not going to worry about refinements all that much. Of course, I'll be nice to be able to get some extra things, but usually she's not the one getting the killing blows, or at least I don't see her going to be doing that. That's mainly going to be Raiden Shogun that's doing it. Now for artifacts, I'm going Force Set Emblem for her, so that way she has easier energy recharge, and then she'll be doing a lot more burst damage when she does land her burst. Her burst has very high damage scaling, and I have her Constellation high enough to where she can buff herself with her own attack buff, use her burst, and then that will end up buffing Raiden Shogun when I switch to her to use her burst right after. So for her gear so far, start with the helm, crit rate on it. Not very good substats. I haven't found another better one for her yet for her helm. This one, for the goblet, it is electro damage, which I do want on her, but I've been farming the hell out of Emblem in the last while, and still have not gotten an attack power one with decent or attack power 1 at all, let alone with decent substats. And if I can get a good attack power 1 with good substats, I'll replace the one on Rain Shogun and probably give her this one. Going for attack power on this rather than energy recharge, just so she has more damage stats to scale off of for her burst. No bonuses on crit damage, but a lot to crit rate. Feather, I'm still leveling up. I've gotten one hit on HP, unfortunately, but hopefully the other two for plus 16 and plus 20 goes into these stats here, preferably crit damage. And this flower is actually a really good one here. It's basically had one hit on energy recharge, but most of it's gone to crit rate and crit damage. Mostly crit rate. And then she'll pair well with Rain Shogun. Now, when I have her out in the field, because it doesn't give her weapon bonus effect unless she's in the party, but when she does, she has 1880. Actually, let me do that now.
I, Fischl, am the Prinzessin der Verirrt.
There we go. So she'll have 1880 attack power. She still has the close enough to the 1-to-2 ratio for crit rate versus crit damage, a ton of energy recharge, and she has way too much electro damage bonus currently. She does need more attack power scaling. That's why I want to switch her, remove like 46% of her electro damage, and I calculated she'll probably get around another 400 attack power if I get her attack power goblet instead, just from the main stat on it alone. But I already have her to Constellation 2. So with Constellation 1, she will build her resolve stacks. She'll get 80% more when Electro character uses their burst. So when Sarah uses her burst, she will basically supercharge and get more stacks for Rain Shogun. The other thing, I did crown this already. And resolve stacks, since her burst costs 80, then add the 80%, it's going to be around 29 stacks of resolve stacks out of 60 that her burst alone would give to her. And then she can burst quite often with her energy recharge, and she can burst quite often too. I think hers is 80 as well. Yes, it is. And the great thing about having her Constellation 6, well, at least Constellation 1 at the bare minimum, so she gets an extra charge on this. R5 Sacrificial Fragments. So just about every time her skill comes off cooldown, most of the time she can do always 2 in a row, and when she starts off fight, she'll have like 3 in a row to just spam, and she gets a lot of energy or elemental particles back, so she doesn't need that much energy recharge to be able to just draw in a ton of energy for herself. And it also gives elemental mastery, which is super useful for her. Now, the other thing with having 2 Electro in the group, you have the Electro Residence, which gives... Okay. So, anytime we get Super Tucked or Electro Charge, you get the Electro Particles, so with Diana's Burst down, ticking, causing these. Along with that, so they'll at least get some additional elemental particles back just to give them more energy, although with a battery for Raiden Shogun, that's probably not going to be all that important. So we'll have to see how this goes. I need to get better at playing Kujo Sara, because I haven't really played her all that much, but from what I can see, this should be a really good A team with some really big hits, and I'm hoping to make this pretty good. Rosaria can easily break 25 or 20k ticks on her burst under Bennett's attack power buff without any reactions. I think last time I see is like 22k previously. And it ticks 7 times because of her Constellation 2, I think it is, that gives the extended duration on it. And it is a fairly decent size AoE, so that should be some good AoE damage just from her. Fischl's Oz over Bennett's buff does over 10k hits as well. So there'll be a lot of support damage going around to help with Xinyan with her damage. But that's so far what I've been working on.
Hmm.
And tell me what you think.